Hello, everybody, and hello, Susan. Today we talk about changes. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Alessandro. And you, how are you doing?
I'm doing very, very great. Excellent, excellent, I need to say. And this is a very interesting topic about why changes are so hard and how we can make them easier, because it's part of my actual life. Like changes is everything. Every day I face changes with my new life. So I feel that it's very interesting to talk about this one. Don't you think that we need every time to know a bit more about changes?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's crucial because what isn't change in life? I mean, this is, I think, also the question, right? Starting from changes of the weather, changes like sometimes when you're traveling or whatever. I mean, everything is changing. I mean, here in Germany, for example, you never know what weather you will have the next day. That's also a small change. We don't know that anymore because we're so used to it that we just adapt on a daily basis.
Yeah, and often we are so used about these small changes that we don't notice them anymore. But
Yeah.
inside ourselves, it's like even a small one, it become like huge, and we are not ready to accept. Why do you think that is so hard?
I think, to be honest, there's also a difference between changes that we choose and changes that we do not choose. I think the ones that we are choosing are still hard, but the ones that we're not choosing, so meaning, for example, I don't know, when we have a business and the market is changing rapidly and we're like, oh shit, my product doesn't sell anymore. What do I do? This is something, this is hard because you're not prepared mentally. But when you say, okay, I'm planning to move to another city, or I don't know, I plan to go traveling, for example, this is something that you can mentally prepare, but still it will be challenging because first of all, you move out of your comfort zone, you move out of something that you know already that is clear into something that is totally unclear, that is a future that is like, I don't know what's happening. So yeah, you move right into uncertainty and into the unknown. And I think that also makes it hard. And also, it includes letting go of something, leaving something behind, what also generates a lot of feelings, sometimes sadness. And so I think that's all like a big process. And then you're sometimes doubts are creeping in. You're like, can I really do that? Or is it possible? Or whatever. I mean, your brain will be like, uh-oh, this is new, this is dangerous. Okay, I will throw a lot of stuff at you. Wait, please go back to your comfort zone. So because it doesn't want us to go out of the comfort zone, because it's a lot, it will be more work in a certain way, because it will be more effort, because everything, we kind of need to learn the things from scratch, right? I mean, when I'm here in Frankfurt, I mean, I know where to find a bakery. I don't know where to find a supermarket. But when I would move like to a new place right now, or even to a new country, the things that I know that worked here will probably not work in Mexico, for example, anymore. I mean, I know Mexico well, so right.
This
That
is an
happened, for
interesting
example, to me a
topic.
lot.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting what you said, because it's something that I face now that I moved to Indonesia. Because
Yeah.
I I noticed that, because these changes help us to understand who we are and what we like and what we dislike. And
Yeah.
because in Lugano, where I lived, I used to go out, exit my home, and just say, okay, I want to go to the city center, stop, and I will know where I will stop for a coffee, where I will go for the grocery, for whatever. I knew, even if I didn't think before leaving home, I knew that there were these 2, 3, 5, 10 places that I wanted to go, or I could go because I like. Here now it's totally different. If I don't plan before, I exit, I don't know if I have to go right or left. So there is a different kind of process that I need to do before exit home, at least now that I'm pretty much new. And I noticed that I don't like so much searching and spending a lot of time in this process. So what I mean with this one is changes are, yes, very annoying sometimes, but they allows you to become more aware of who you are and be ready for the next challenge.
Yes, totally. Yeah. I also think that I think this is kind of like a muscle that you're building. The more that you're facing changes, the easier it will be, because you will also develop more confidence and be like, okay, again, it's okay. I mean, like, I think when you do not go through changes very frequently, it is harder because you do not have the last change that present anymore. And you're like, can I really do this? But when you do that constantly, it's like, yeah, okay, next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly a muscle that you build, and you start doubting less yourself because you trust that you can handle the changes and the issues, because you already done maybe 10 times in the past week, I don't know. And so being able to face a lot of changes, a lot of changes is necessary in our life. And I will always suggest people to try something new, to I often ask people, when is it the last time that you tried something new that was a bit uncomfortable to you? And it's very rare they say in the past week, or the past month, or the past 6 months, because it's not so easy to change. Often it's also, I am someone who go to the gym. I like going to the gym. And in the past 20 years, I went to the same gym. And now that I am in a different country, this week I had to choose the new one. And I was, oh my God, what I really like, something small, a bit more private, or something bigger that has everything and can offer everything, but is maybe also a bit more expensive. I didn't know before. I really didn't know, because I was so used to go always in the same gym, doing the same exercises. And this one, it's a step that we need to learn to do. And I don't mean that anytime we need to change, but some stuff, it's good.
Yeah, I think you automized in a certain way your habits, right? That it was just automatically that you went to the gym without thinking about it a lot. And now, like, the change is like making you question. It's helping you to question like your past decisions in a certain way, right? It's like, okay, so now I have to re-choose. So what do I actually choose? It's really interesting. But like before, you were also saying that you would suggest to people to face more challenges or make themselves more comfortable. To be honest, my intuitive reaction would be, but why would I want to make myself more uncomfortable? So, Alessandro, why?
Because you learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. And this is exactly what we live. We live every time in this way, anything. And also because we faced in the past years, we have COVID, we have this situation that was totally different in our life. And some people react very badly, couldn't handle this situation. They start to feel scared, or they start to feel like alone, or they start to feel, I don't know what to do, whatever. And being able to accept, being flexible in some situations is very important. And I don't mean that we need to change everything, but it's very, very stupid example. In the past, when I went to a pizzeria, I always order the same pizza any single time. And now I started to say, you know what? I want to change sometimes. Yes, I like this kind of pizza.
Yeah.
It's fine, but let's try something different. It's
Yeah.
okay to feel a bit the uncomfort of the unknown.
Yeah, I think it's really a good example because with that you can, even with that you can train that muscle. Because I remember, because we did the same actually, we went for quite a while to the same pizza place and had the same pizza, and you know what the reason was? Because we were like, what if other pizza places aren't that good? And when we, because it was a safe option, we were sure we would have a pizza that we would like.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were actually asking, but when we try a couple of times, what if we find a pizza place that we like even more? I think because like when we're facing changes, very often we think about the worst that could happen first and do not really take into account that actually it might be better than before.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just to finish the pizza story, what actually happened, we truly found a place that we liked more. But in between, we also tried some places that we didn't like at all. But
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that was part of the journey, right? It's like, yeah.
And what is so bad in this situation? You say just, okay, I don't like this place, and I move on. And next time I
Yeah.
will not go there. Is it so dangerous? I don't know. I mean, sometimes how you said, we have this habit of thinking bad first. All the negative aspect that can happen in our life if we change something. We can lose this one, that one. We can become like this, and I accept this one, and it's okay. It's not anything easy for me to change, even if now I'm doing a big change and I'm living a totally different kind of life. Sometimes I feel like I like also my comfort zone, but then I also ask myself, okay, what it's causing me my comfort zone in this situation? Is it something positive or negative? If it's positive, okay, keep going until it's positive, it's fine. But if it's negative, that is not allowing me to be myself or to do what I like, okay, so no, it's not, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. And I think anyways, what I mean, what I sometimes also tend to forget, that the comfort zone, like once you expand your comfort zone, so meaning when you face changes and challenges, when you face them often enough, that becomes your new comfort zone. Actually, that's exactly the, I think that's actually what always happens. Like you go through challenges, you feel uncomfortable for a while, and at some point you're like, ah, it's actually okay, I can manage it, I can deal with it. And then so it's like the first ring was like your old comfort zone. No, now there's like you build like a new one. So you can kind of like, if you want to face the next one that is still like again out of your comfort zone, it's like this is like the way of expanding, I would say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In fact, even you had this kind of experiences also in business. You faced a lot of changes, a lot of discomfort, and also with colleagues who felt not really easy in business changes. And so you know very well how is it, and also the
Yes.
kind of phases that we need to face.
Yeah, I think also like job wise, for me, it was the same. Like before, when I was working at companies, that was the same thing. I mean, I changed jobs very often because I always had slight challenges to work at companies, I would say. Um, so, and that was also always a very hard moment when I realized, you know what, this job, it's not right for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then also saying, okay, I let go of it, and I let go of the idea of myself as well. Because for me, it was also like when you stick, I think also the longer you stick to something, the more you're trying to convince yourself that this is the right thing. And I think then also the longer it takes to say, you know what, actually it isn't. Especially when maybe working conditions are changing, you have another boss, or then you have new colleagues, or like some parts are, and you're like, actually, no, I don't like this anymore. But why? I have liked this a lot in the past. So why do I not like this anymore? And like also like bringing in that acceptance of saying, no, it's not me anymore, or maybe my environment isn't me, or even for a business, you can also say, market has changed, my product is not selling anymore, this isn't working anymore, I need to find something new. Yeah, and that's where I think also the hard part is, and yeah, where you're like, okay, I need to accept this now. Like training yourself in acceptance can also help a lot to move on quicker. To say this is how.
What do you think about accepting? What do we have to accept?
Accept reality in a certain way, that things might not be how we wish they would be.
Okay, yeah,
Or
yeah.
also even accepting ourselves that, I mean, for me, for example, I really wanted to see myself so badly working as an employee in a company. And it took me a long time to accept that this is not really who I am, and that is not really what truly feels right for me.
So it's a kind of, if I want to understand what you mean, it's accepting the false expectation of ourselves that is not anymore something good for us.
Yeah, accepting that we were wrong in what we thought.
Yeah, and this is so painful sometimes.
No.
Because we don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, and especially when we already invested so much time, because it's not only saying I was wrong, it was like, shit, I went the wrong way. There's no wrong way, but I went a way that was not really truthful to me for a couple of years maybe. And maybe it's also admitting, you know what, just because I wanted to be right, I wasted 3, 4, 5, 15 years. I don't know how many years, but just that means also letting go of that, of the fact that, yeah, maybe you lived a life that was not 100% yours, just because you wanted to be right in a certain way, or you had that idea in your head that this is how it should be. And it's, yeah.
Because you experience a lot of times this aspect, what do you think but it's a question for you. What do you think that are the consequences when we accept this aspect?
You feel a lot lighter. I think for me, usually when I truly accept what is truly truthful to me, and also the reality. I mean, there's no, also always when I'm talking about reality, I mean like the facts that are around us. I mean, there is no real reality in, you know what I mean, whatever. I don't want to get into that, but it's like, my head was like, oh, wait, whatever. So coming back to the topic. So what was the topic again?
The consequences.
The consequences. Yeah, like just, yeah, I always feel a lot more relaxed, because I think that's, for me, where most of the tension comes from is really the idea of how things should be and how they are. I think this is always the area of most tension. And I think also when we go through changes, the longer we deny that, for example, also, I don't know, pandemic is here, or that, I don't know, I lost my job. I can deny that. Or I can just say, yes, it's gone. It is, and it hurts. I mean, then you also accept feeling. You might feel like sadness. You accept feeling frustration. You accept feeling. So all the feelings that are coming after accepting. So you accept to go through them as well.
So for a good change, we also need to accept these kind of feelings that we are experiencing.
Yeah, I think we need to accept the feelings, and also we need to accept that change is always a process we need to go through. So it's unavoidable that first we will probably have a moment where we try to deny it. Second, we will have a moment where we will feel sad or frustrated, up to depressed or whatever. Everything that's like coming when you accept that actually the change is here, especially when you didn't really want it, when it's just, shit, it's how it is, no? Yeah, and then at some point you will think, okay, so now, I don't know, I have to stay at home, pandemic, they closed everything down. What can I do? How can I make myself feel better? What is still possible? How can I get creative? How can we still meet as friends? You start looking for solutions. This is like the second phase, and then you're like, okay, I can deal with this. This is kind of like the end of that change story. But we always go through that. It's called change curve, by the way. This is not something that I'm making up, just to mention.
And in this process, I think that it's very important that in each point we need a different kind of help, because we can handle alone. It's much more difficult and much more painful, sometimes much more longer. And sometimes we also should learn that changes are, I don't want to say difficult, sometimes yes. And so when they are, maybe we can also have help. And we have.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if I need to accept something, maybe I need a different kind of support than when I need to experience something.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also going quicker, the way to go quicker through a change is accepting all of that. What you just said is just saying also, okay, well, I will have my moments of denial. I will have my moments of frustration. I will have my moments of depression. I will have, or not depression, but you know what I mean, like just feeling not so well. I will have my moments where we'll start looking for solutions, and at some point I will be okay. And I think the quicker we also accept that, and also, as you said, like the fact that sometimes we just also need additional help, and to say, now here I'm feeling truly stuck. I don't know how to move on. Okay, now somebody can give me a hand. That can be a professional or whatever. Like sometimes just also a friend that is super supportive. It doesn't need to be always a health professional or coach or whatever. But
yeah, exactly. And also because, in our blood, we always want the results for yesterday and not for tomorrow. And so having a kind of support that can help us to foster this process, it's also good, because we want faster results. Just we need to be careful that faster results always there is not always equal to good result. So we just can accelerate, but we also need to consider that some part we need to stay a bit. I also say take your time in each step and leave the situation, because I know that maybe the denial moment, it's painful, it's annoying, but it's also important to leave it, to experience, to feel what are your emotions, because you can just learn from that moment, and you can learn also in the next time how to be better with a change. Because if you start always avoiding all your emotions and throw them away, then sooner or later they will come back and they will be stronger than before.
Yeah, because I mean, the more you push these emotions away, it means they can't flow. And that also means that this is like a pipe. Like usually emotions are just flowing through freely through that pipe when you let them go. But when you say, I don't want to have them, you actually, you block that pipe. So emotions can't flow anymore, but that also means they're not going away. They're not going somewhere. So once you let them, they will also go at a point. But yeah, that will take the time that it takes.
Exactly. What are two advices that you think to give for to ease a change, make it easier?
Think about past changes that you've managed successfully. Make a list of them, especially when you are doubting that you can overcome a change. I think that's one. And the second one, yeah, try to put yourself out of comfort zone as often as possible in order to train that change muscle.
Yeah, I really like the second one also because of this one.
So what would you say? Come on, you now as well. Two advices.
Probably the first one I will say to focus on the positive changes instead of negative changes. This one it's really turning point, I think, and take the situation less seriously because we too much to be serious and think that this one it will be a catastrophe if we take the wrong decision. And so just be easy with yourself, patient, and say, you know what, it's just one change, and if it will not work, I can change it. My choice.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. Good.
So great.
What do you think?
It's amazing. I believe that we get a lot of good informations, and yeah, let's move to the next topic, that it will be
awesome.
Surviving the storm and courageous depression navigation.
And I'm really happy to talk about that topic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alessandro.